maybe. Let's see. Okay, I believe we are live. So welcome mamas to the Mom and Baby Nutrition Support Group. My name is Alex Gardner. I'm a registered and licensed dietitian nutritionist and a certified lactation consultant. And I help mamas just like yourself nourish their bodies so that they can have a healthy baby, they can recover faster postpartum and have more energy to do the things they love to do with their little ones without feeling overwhelmed. But tonight we have a very special guest with us. I'd love to introduce Helena Rego. She is a gold wellness advocate with doTERRA essential oils. She partners with families to empower them to use natural solutions to increase their quality of life. So for years, she actually sought a more natural lifestyle to promote healthiness and happiness for her kiddos. And now she shares that knowledge with others, whether it's helping a mama during pregnancy or providing soothing oils during postpartum. There is an oil for everything, she likes to say. Helena is a wife to her high school sweetie and a mother of 2 preteens. So let's give her a little extra love for the preteens. As a family, they love to cook from scratch, garden, and raise chickens. So if there is a healthy and a cost-effective way to accomplish something, she will find it. So thank you so much for joining us, Helena. I'm so happy to have you here.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for the invite.
Yeah. So I'd first like to start a little bit of asking, like, what brought you on this journey to wellness? Like, how'd you get to where you are today?
So it was really probably started when I got pregnant with my son, and
Mhm.
food wasn't even like an aspect of what I was looking at. I just wanted to do the best that I could as a mom. So as he got older, I started looking at food. I had a second child, and we really started to dig deep. So, we do paleo and do a juice cleanse here and there and find the best organic co-op that we could find. And we started gardening, and we just tried playing with things to see what would fit and help us save money. But what got me into the oils was I just wanted to save money. I wanted clean cleaners, because especially 11 years ago, things that said that they were clean weren't, and they cost 3 times as much. I wanted to save the money on that and know what I was using around my kids. So I started to look into essential oils. I got completely confused, overwhelmed. The information that existed 12 years ago was not anything that you could just change a lifestyle habit off of. And I went, okay, fine. And I walked away, and then my dear friend invited me to an essential oil class. And from then on out, it's just been like, okay, what else can I use these oils for?
Okay, that's a fun like way that you transitioned into that healthy lifestyle. Like I hear it all the time, when mamas were pregnant for the first time, they have their little ones, a lot of their perspective shifts into providing that clean environment, that healthy alternative. So for mamas that might currently be pregnant, is it safe? Like, are essential oils safe for pregnant mamas? And if so, like what is the application for that?
It is absolutely safe. There are a few oils that you want to stay away from, mainly clary sage in the later parts of pregnancy, because it's a good oil to help bring on contractions. So it's a good oil for those who are like, okay, it's time to go into labor. They can apply that to the inside of their ankles, but you want to avoid that towards the later ends of pregnancy before the very end. But you just kind of use it the same way that you do for everything else. There is a great book that I do recommend to expecting mamas. It's Essential Oils in Pregnancy by Stephanie Fritz.
Oh, I gotta read that.
It's super easy to get right off of Amazon. And that's Essential Oils and Pregnancy by Dr. Stephanie Fritz. And she's an amazing midwife. And she works with doTERRA to make sure that their guidelines are safe for pregnancy. But you just want to dilute your oils, avoid clary sage. Diffusing is always safe for anybody, for young kids, for pets, for pregnant mamas. So that's a great way to use that essential oil, use any essential oil. You can also clean with them safely. And then whatever you're using for yourself, just make sure it's diluted.
So when you say diluted, do you mean, because a lot of times I do, like, I take this essential oil and I like put it on my wrist and I do this and I do this. That's concentrated, or is that considered diluted?
It is pure essential oil when you're putting it on your skin. So I love to tell everybody to always dilute your essential oils for different reasons. One, you're going to make sure that you're not going to have any reactions, because some oils are hot and some people have more sensitive skin. So if you dilute it, you don't have to worry about it at all. So you could do 1 to 1, 1 drop of a carrier oil, like fractionated coconut oil or sweet almond oil. I've used olive oil in the past. So you could do 1 to 1 drop. And then if you're using it on kids or pregnant mamas, you could do 1 to 10. And if you want to make sure it's super, super safe for any newborns, you could do 1 to 20. So 1 drop of essential oil to 20 drops of a carrier oil. What else that is going to do is it's going to help stretch that essential oil out. So if you take something like lemon, that's 4 cents a drop, and you dilute it, you're going to make that essential oil last longer. You're also going to help the skin absorb the oil better. So essential oils are volatile. As soon as you open that lid, you smell it right away. Those are those compounds escaping. So when you put something on your skin, a lot of those compounds are flashing right off before they can absorb. The carrier oil will trap it in there and make sure it's all absorbed. So you are getting more bang for your buck in 3 different ways when you dilute them.
I learned something new today. Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're very welcome.
So is it pretty easy then to like make your own dilution? Like if you got, like you said, the almond oil and you put a couple drops on and then you like put a drop of that on, then you could smush it around.
Absolutely. So it depends on what you're doing. If you want to, say, make yourself a perfume blend or make yourself a stress blend or make something that's going to help boost the immunity of kids, or there's a great blend for mastitis, then you'd want to put it in a roller ball so it's easy and convenient to be able to access and use without having to dilute it. And you can, again, get the empty roller balls right off of Amazon for very, very cheap. And they
Yeah,
make
I do that.
smaller than this as well. So that way you don't have to make a big bottle that might last you 6 months and you just need it for a short period of time. You can make a smaller one. If you are just, I want to scent my lotion, and you have an unscented lotion, then you could just put it right on your skin. If you're like, I want to try something new, just do it that way.
I love that. I'm learning so many new things. I've got a list going. The roller balls, the pregnancy book, I've got a whole list. And like you said, like just making yourself smell good. And we were talking about this beforehand, but for the mamas that, weren't in that conversation, there's a documentary called Stink that I watched a couple of years ago, and it really changed my life in terms of like what all of these fragrances are doing in common cleaners and perfumes and hairspray and in lotion and body wash and everything that we're drenching our bodies in. And it's full of these chemicals and we're just spraying it on ourselves. And I like to smell good, but I also don't want to get cancer or like develop all these horrible things related to all these chemicals. So having that alternative of being able to smell good and not give myself cancer at the same time is a great plus. So I think that's an awesome opportunity for moms to do that. But one thing you brought up was stress. And I know if you're a postpartum mom or a mom at any stage, you might have some stress going on in your life. So what is a good way for moms to handle that with an oil?
So I'm going to break that into 2. So with mamas, stress often turns into headaches. So for me, myself, I always have peppermint on me at all times. I like to keep the little beadlets. They're just 1/3 of a drop in like a little teeny tiny ball that you can pop like an Altoid. And I like these because it's the size of a chapstick tube. So it's convenient to have in my car, my purse, my diaper bag, in my pocket if I'm not taking anything. And if I don't want to take it internally and I want to stop a headache before it started, I could pop it between my fingers and just rub it right there on my temples and the back of my skull and kind of pull that down. Because if that stress is turning into a headache, that headache is just going to make us even more stressful. and irritable with our kids. So that's the first one. Then anything calming is great for helping bring that stress down. Alex, you shared Serenity, using Serenity at nighttime. That was always my go-to oil for helping relieve that stress. Kids can go crazy at points of the day. They kind of just lose their minds. They start fighting. They make a mess. I remember one time I was sitting working on the computer and I turned around and there's baking soda all behind me. My kids are playing so well, I didn't pay attention.
Of course.
Frozen. They were playing Frozen. So that stress comes up. So when you can just grab an oil, throw it right over your heart or inhale it out of your hands, take 30 seconds just to kind of meditate on the spot, close your eyes, take yourself away to a beach, to a cabin, sitting by the fire, wherever your spot is, and bring yourself down and release that that anxiety and that stress, and then go. So lavender, cedarwood is really good. Serenity is a beautiful, beautiful one. Adaptive is a blend that they have that they created for calming. So relieving that stress. This one's a little bit more punchy. I like that lavender and that floral to ground me.
Mm-hmm.
And those are my go-tos.
Yeah. And I know one thing that we were talking about were diffusers. And I do know sometimes diffusers can be a little like cost prohibitive, but one thing we were also mentioning was using like a humidifier. And of course it might not be the best, but I have a little bedside humidifier, not very big. I want to say I got it for like $10 maybe at Walmart at some point in time. And it was really meant more for the winter, so my nose wasn't dry at night. But I realized I could put a little bit of essential oils like lavender or the Serenity in there, and I could use that before I went to bed, but still like humidify the room. And so it was a really awesome alternative to buying like a classified, this is a diffuser. Like you can get something that's a little more cheap than some of the diffusers that are out on the market. So I think that's a great option as well. Now, one thing you brought up was the peppermint and it like being cooling. So if a mom is having a hot flash later in pregnancy, is that something like that? You said it's safe to put on the back of your neck or put on your temples to kind of cool you down a little bit?
Absolutely. And I don't have it sitting right here, but doTERRA carries a lot of their most popular oils pre-diluted. So you don't have to, for those that are like, okay, she just said 1 to 1, 1 to 5, 1 to 10.
Yeah.
There are a line of essential oils that are called Touch. So it's already pre-diluted and completely safe. So I would recommend the Touch peppermint for those mamas. And then they could just take that rollerball. And me in the summertime in Florida, pushing a double stroller up the hills in the amusement parks, I kept it on me at all times just to go, okay, bring me back down, cool me down.
Yeah.
But in the middle of the night, if you wake up, I've used it when the air went out at night and you're suffering, peppermint all over you. And another good one is just a spray bottle of water and peppermint. Give it a little bit of a shake.
Yeah.
And it's like air conditioning in a bottle.
Yeah. Because if for mamas that don't, if you're like having a hard time imagining this, if you had a peppermint in your mouth or like one of those little peppermint lifesavers or an Altoid or something, and you breathe in and your mouth is like crispy. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like crisp. That's kind of what it's doing, but to your skin. So I think that's a really great opportunity for mamas as well.
I do want to throw a disclaimer out there to any mamas that might be breastfeeding. Peppermint will dry up your supply. So peppermint is kind of off limits to nursing mamas until you stop nursing. But it also helps if you are transitioning out of nursing. Peppermint can help you with that.
Is that if you were to ingest it or put it on?
If you ingest it, it's not bad, especially if you're using like the peppermint beadlets. You're only taking, say you're taking 6 a day, that's 2 drops throughout the day, you're safe. But if you are sitting there with peppermint all over you, then that's going to be a different story. Now, I know mamas that never were affected by peppermint, and I know mamas that were highly affected by peppermint. So just like everything else, each person is a little bit different, and you kind of got to find what how it affects you. But for the most part, we just tell mamas to avoid that peppermint. And then when they're ready, they can introduce it back in.
So what about the number one complaint of pregnancy, which is nausea? Is there anything that can help with that?
Absolutely. So there are 3 that come to mind. Peppermint again. We know a lot of people have used peppermint tea to help through that nausea. So peppermint can be diffused, it can be taken internally, and it can be applied right to the stomach. Another one is Digestion. So it's a whole blend of digestive oils. And again, this one doesn't taste great. And sometimes when you're pregnant, things are like, oh, I don't want that. It tastes bad. It doesn't taste great. It's star anise. It's a very strongly star anise, but it's got star anise, ginger, peppermint, fennel, a couple other oils in there. And it's really,
That sounds
really
strong.
it's very strong. But they sell a soft gel. So you can take it and put it in your own gel cap, but you kind of still get the taste of it. They sell it so it's already in a soft gel, so you don't have to taste it at all. You don't have to smell it. You could pop it. Once it gets in there, it's going to help soothe that nausea. You can also apply it right to the belly button, but it's also to give you a little bit of insight of the effects of how strong it is. I went on a cruise a couple years ago, and if you've ever been on a cruise that's going like this out the window, and there's nothing, the peppermint was not working for me. And I put a little bit of it right behind my ears, and the nausea went completely away immediately.
Interesting. I bet that's good for people who get car sick too, because I get car sick.
I usually stick with peppermint. Peppermint's always on me, always. So I always have beadlets in my car and I stick with peppermint, but with that extremeness of the boat, I went straight for the Digestion. But ginger is another really great one. And I'm going to double check. We used to have, I can't remember off the top of my head if it was a permanent item or if it was a sale item, but I'm almost positive we have ginger drops as well.
I'm always recommending ginger chews for mamas who are struggling with nausea. Now, of course,
We do.
you want to, oh, cool. Of course, also disclaimer, talk with your healthcare provider about any of this before you ingest anything that is not food. But generally speaking, these things are considered okay, but every mama has a unique situation. Yes.
Absolutely. So our oils are food grade, so it's kind of hard to see on this, but they have nutrition facts if they're safe for internal use.
Really?
If you're not comfortable with that, then you don't have to take it internally at all, because you're still going to get those benefits of aromatic and topical use. And oils are not a magic cure. They're not a magic fix. There is no magic pill out there, but it is just part of helping boost your body to do what it's supposed to do.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to make sure that every mama has your contact information. And I know you said you had a couple of freebies for mamas. So what are those?
I do. So I do have an essential oils and children ebook that is available to everybody. And I do want to offer a free one-on-one with me, so you can learn more about how essential oils might help you. So we can go over what your needs are and how the essential oils can help with those needs. And then you can get an idea of what that cost is. But again, like I was sharing with lemon, 4 cents a drop. So when we talk about a lot of these things, you're using 1 to 2 drops, and that's where the savings come in the long run.
Awesome. So mamas, if you're watching and you want this handout, comment oil in the comments, and Helena will make sure that she gets that over to you. That way you guys can connect and you can learn a little bit more about what she does, and she can give you that awesome handout, and you guys can schedule that free one-on-one if that's something you want to do. If you want the handout too, that's just fine. So we'll make sure you have all your contact information, and we'll get that handout out. And what is your, I guess, little nugget of advice or takeaway that you want mamas to really, really get from this?
Oh, that's a good one. So I would say that it can all be very, very overwhelming, especially if you want to change something in your life. And when you're changing something as bringing another being into the world, and or just trying to like revamp how you eat or revamp how you clean, just take it one step at a time. There are tons of
Yes.
people out there that will help you. You don't have to do everything at once, and you don't have to be perfect.
Oh, I think I love that. Yes, small sustainable shifts are going to get you to your long-term goals. So thank you so much, Helena, for joining us today. And mamas, I really hope that you took some value out of this. I know I learned several things today. I always learn things on these special guest interviews, and Helena is a dear friend of mine, so I'm so glad she could join us. So mamas, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. I'll make sure that Helena sees those and she can answer those to the best of her knowledge. And or you could reach out to her or me directly and we'll get those questions answered to you. So mamas, I will see everybody next week. Bye guys. And then, oh, we're still live. Hang on.